What do you know about Zone 414? My city of robots.
Zone 414 immediately grabbed me. From the first page, I've been a massive fan of sci-fi for a very long time, and with this film, the writer Brian Hill creates a world that is just based on pleasure, and it is decadence, and it's no different than a modern-day Rome.
We're in a future that isn't likely to be too far from where we are now, a future where we can design robots that look just like human beings, and they can interface with us as human beings do. And there's a territory called Zone 414, where these robots are essentially there to be companions for the super rich. It's like an amusement park for adults. Think about sort of Las Vegas designed by Elon Musk with limitless finances kind of running as its lifeblood.
Wonderful script, really strong, quite unusual. The subject matter is quite intense. The zone is very much like human trafficking, but it's for synthetics. But it's very real. I think it's a very good statement of where we could be in like maybe 15 years, and where nothing will be more valuable than actually our appreciation of what it is to be human. I really wanted to direct the film because of the characters. It's an opportunity for me to work with some wonderful actors. So the scene today is where David meets Marlon Veet, who owns the Zone and has created the Zone. And it's exciting because today this is the first day that Guy Pearce has gotten to work with Travis Fimmel, and they're two Australian actors. They're both playing very different roles. They're both very different types of actors.
I play the role of David Carmichael in Zone 414. David is an ex-cop and a man who's fairly troubled. I really enjoyed playing David. You know, he's got a quiet, seething energy, and he's a fairly tough character. He's brought into this sort of strange world, this sort of walled-off world of Zone 414, and I think very quickly it feels in a way like delving into the belly of the beast, I think.
My name is Matilda Lutz and I play Jane. Jane is, as they say, a snowflake. She's unique, and she's the first android that was ever built by the Veet Corporation. She's strong and badass and all of it. Thinking about the struggle that she goes through, she is a machine, but she's struggling with understanding if she's human, because she has feelings, and I love it. I love playing in these films, and I can't wait to see it all together.
So I play a character called Joseph Veet, who is the brother of Marlon Veet. This part is just delicious to play, and I get to behave a little bit weirdly, a little bit badly here and there. The look is quite extraordinary, very pale. The costume's great.
I think George represents some kind of underbelly of the darkest side of the Zone, which is not made particularly clear what George's interests are, but they're deviant and slightly creepy. There's a great cast on this, fantastic. It's really a spectrum of really interesting faces and interesting actors.
I play a character called Royale. She manages the synthetic companions. My whole look is amazing, and no acting required.
I think out of all of them, Marlon is probably the most unusual character. Travis usually plays sort of fairly alpha, strong, male, good-looking character, and in this we're trying to make him look, as for want of a better word, as unattractive as possible. So there's a fair bit of prosthetics is going on with him, and wigs that aren't quite right.
Yeah, Travis is in makeup for 4 hours pretty much. It's a great film to do prosthetics in. We've had to make the innards of robots. We made a Frankenstein dummy model, which looks pretty grotesque.
Working in Belfast has been a great experience. One of the bigger parts of that, one of the bigger joys of that, is shooting inside the Paint Hall Titanic Studios. This is where HBO made Game of Thrones. This is where the Titanic was built. We're getting to use it. It's our playground.
I had a great time working on the film. It was a great bunch of people. Andrew, Matilda, Johnny Aris, Antonia, really great group of people. And being in Northern Ireland, I'd never actually worked in Belfast before. In fact, I'd never even been to Belfast before. It was a great joy to finally make it there and get to work on a really good project.
We've been Extremely lucky on Zone 414. Andrew's had an exceptional vision for this film, and with a great team around him, he's been able to capitalize on it, absolutely. It just looks fantastic.
I've been so impressed with all the hair and makeup work, the costume work, the production design. The sets are stunning, the lighting's amazing, we've got an incredible cinematographer.
I'm always looking forward to seeing the finished product. I'm so curious whenever we make any film, what it's going to feel like when it's finished.
The visuals on this film are going to be so powerful.
I really enjoyed working on the film. Every experience is so different, and this was definitely a great one.
So I think people will be taken on a journey into an unusual but very relatable world. It's very exciting, it's very thrilling. Sexy, you know, and I think people will have a lot of fun watching it.
What's more human than fear? My androids. Companionship is rare these days. Not my kind of place.
As a writer, I'm always looking for who are the cutting-edge filmmakers. You know, who are the bleeding-edge filmmakers that are out there? And I was looking at music videos, which I often do, and I saw a music video for The Weeknd. It was Kissland. And I was like, who directed this? So I immediately looked up who directed that video, and I found Andrew Baird's name. So we got together, and I told him, well, I got this script. And it's cool, it's thrilling, it's got some great characterization in there, it's sexy, and I think it could really be something, but I need like a fearless filmmaker to want to ride this beast.
Wonderful script, really strong. It was very easy to visualize it, you know. For me, it was just very much a kind of a world that I could create quite easily, and it just played into all the kind of graphic, it was like an adult graphic novel. Very adult. We had meetings, various producers came and went, we talked, and I connected with Martin Brennan over here in Belfast, and Martin was backed up by Mark Hotham, who's a fantastic producer here as well. That's when it really started to cook.
I'd been tracking Andrew Baird as a director for some time and was really taken by his work. He gave me the script and I read it, and it was everything he said and more. A sci-fi piece which was set in the near future, which had shades of Blade Runner, but also had this kind of dark, cool, sexual undertone to it. We started on the endeavor together, and within 6 months we'd cast the film and we'd financed the film, and now we're here in Belfast and we're shooting the film.
I started to visualize it, you know, with visual decks, storyboards. I can do all of this stuff myself, coming from being a designer. We'd done a lot of that by the time we landed our first attachment. So Travis was the first to sign on. Then we got Matilda, and then we got Guy Pearce, and then from there we brought on 7 other fantastic actors.
I read the script and I loved it. I thought I would have so much fun playing Jane. And as actors, we've been really allowed to just play and, you know, use our instincts on scenes and go where we wanted to go, and then he would move the cameras based on where we wanted to go. I remember before starting to shoot, we arrived in Belfast with Guy, Andrew, and I, and we were just, you know, reading through the script and getting things done, and all the things that we wanted to change, we got to change, and you know, we really were creating together, which was a really great experience.
Well, I thought the script was good. I mean, obviously, you know, like on any job, I always have thoughts and ideas, and you know, try and express them and get them across, you know, early on. And sometimes that means adjusting things. Sometimes it just means me needing to understand things better. And it's set in a sort of an alternate world. It's set in a world that is, you know, it's slightly futuristic and also just other. We had a good period before we started shooting to work through the script and kind of massage certain ideas in, you know, in different directions, and not really changing anything, but just strengthening things and focusing on things and highlighting certain other aspects.
A brilliant DP, James Mather, brilliant production designer, Philip Murphy, wonderful costume designer, Susan Scott, makeup and prosthetics, Pam Smith, who's doing makeup and prosthetics, as Kate Walsh and her team at Millennium in London. And we've done a tremendous scale for our budget here, and Belfast has really been of great help.
Andrew had a very clear vision. Classic and retro set dressing and set decoration and design in some of the sets, and then it's fully sort of futuristic with the use of neon and LED lighting and other elements. He's very clear thinking, it's very planned, it's very structured, but then there's a great freedom within that.
So we've a lot of wigs and a lot of nylon wigs, which normally we wouldn't do either in film. We'd be doing lovely real hair, making it look as real as possible, whereas in this case we're making it look as static as possible and playing with colours and shapes. But the main characters are, as actors, are all absolutely fantastic, both in, obviously their standard of acting is incredible, but in, as general people in my chair.
We do quite a lot of design work before anything gets made, and it always starts with a conversation with the director, whether it's over storyboards or maybe it's a phone conversation or a video conversation, where we try and get into his head and figure out what is it that he needs this to look like. I think sci-fi suits us really well because we did 10 plus years on Doctor Who and various other sci-fi projects.
Like any production these days, as producers, we try and get the most benefit on the screen. So we look all over the world for the best tax incentive, the best architecture, the best crews, the best financial package that fits within the sensibilities of what the director's looking for. We looked in Eastern Europe, we looked in Latin America, we kept coming back to Belfast. Everyone has been exceptional. It's somewhere I would definitely, as a producer, shoot again in 2 seconds.
So we're doing a fair amount of night shoots on this job. When you see the film, you'll see why. And the location that we're in today, for instance, is an enormous space and it's glass all the way around it. So you can't black that out artificially. You have to wait for it to be dark. And if there's any discomfort in having to stay up late, then you forget it when you see the set and you read the scenes and you see what you're trying to achieve.
I'm really excited by what we've shot so far, and we're just past the halfway mark. We've gotten just incredible production value, but also, even more importantly, we've gotten incredible performances.
You create worlds all the time in film and hope that the audience can just sort of fall into it and believe it. So I'm looking forward to seeing it. Yeah.
I do what you want.